back again. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for coming over. Before we get started, I just want to say if you're new here, hello, welcome. I put out new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Currently, I'm doing 3 different series. On Mondays, I have a little get to know you series. On Wednesdays, we're doing some wonderful paranormal story times. And on Fridays, I have a series called 5 Things. So those will be continuing for the next couple weeks here. If any of those sound interesting for you, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button and tune in for those. Since I don't upload every day, make sure you go ahead and ring the notification bell so you know when I do put up videos, because I guarantee if you stick around and watch them, you are going to want to see them. I just want to say welcome. As you can tell, we're in a little bit of a new filming location. I got sick of sitting on my bed, so I decided to set up a little office area, and we're going to be filming here now. I've got my little wall of aspirations, as you can see. If you have anything you'd like added, go ahead and throw a comment down there, and I might throw a card up on my wall with a little illustration of what you said. So, welcome to Wednesday. You know what that means? We're doing a paranormal story time today. I'm actually going to be talking about a couple of my experiences with Bloody Mary and that paranormal game. So if you don't know what Bloody Mary is, it's a paranormal game and also kind of folklore, urban legend. It's been around for years, and it's actually very, very interesting. People have been doing it for just such a long time, like over 50 years. No one is really sure where it started, but there are a couple of really interesting theories. I just wanted to start out talking about, kind of the background. They have been trying to figure out the origins of Bloody Mary actually since the 1970s. It's been around much, much longer than that. Traditionally, Bloody Mary was actually used as a way to determine the future. So young women were encouraged to darken their houses and walk backwards up the stairs holding a candle. Once they got to the top of the stairs, they were encouraged to look in the mirror, and as they looked behind them, they would supposedly see the face of their future husband staring back next to them in the mirror. So this was a way for women to, catch a glimpse of who their potential husband was going to be. Alternatively, a woman also had the chance to see the image of the Grim Reaper in the mirror staring back at her, which meant that she was to die before she got married. Those are some of the oldest accounts and the oldest descriptions for how to play this Bloody Mary paranormal game. This is a game that is played at sleepovers all over the world. I know it was really, really popular when I was a kid. We used to play it at school, we used to play it at sleepovers, we played it just everywhere all the time. So the way I was taught to play it is you would go into the bathroom and turn off the light. And if you had a candle, you could use a candle, but we were kids, so we never really had candles. So what you would do is you would look into the mirror in the dark, and you would say Bloody Mary 3 times, turn around 3 times, and when you looked in the mirror, you were supposed to see an apparition of either a young woman or a dead woman staring back at you. Occasionally, it's said that the mirror will drip with blood, or that the woman will appear with bloody, scratched-out eyes. This is thought to be the appearance of Bloody Mary, and there are many different ways people play this game. I've heard spinning around 10 times, saying your name 10 times. I've heard saying, Bloody Mary, I've got your baby. I've heard many, many different ways, but I'm just going to be focusing on the way that I personally learned how to play it when I was a teenager. So some of the most interesting backgrounds I found for this actually, one is some people do believe that the game of Bloody Mary is actually related to becoming a woman, which, as you know, a lot of people consider the entry to womanhood to be a girl's first menstruation, and obviously Bloody Mary is related to blood, and it's related to, being alone in the bathroom. A lot of preteen girls play it, and a lot of the times it's played with other girls or with other young women, and it's thought to be kind of a rite of passage, which I thought that one was really interesting. I've never actually heard that interpretation before. I've never heard anybody talk about it, so I just kind of wanted to mention it. It sounds kind of stupid, but I just thought it was really interesting, so I wanted to mention it. The story that I knew growing up was that Bloody Mary was the ghost of Elizabeth Bathory, known as the Queen of Blood, who was supposedly put to death for killing thousands upon thousands of young women and bathing in their blood because she thought it was the secret to immortality. When I grew up, that's what we knew. We thought that if you said Bloody Mary 3 times and spun around with the lights off in the bathroom, when you looked in the mirror, Queen Elizabeth would be staring back at you and reach in and pull you into the mirror in order to slit your throat and bathe in your blood so that she could continue to live her life of eternal youth. So, you know, that's horrifying, but that's what I grew up learning. So some of these scientific explanations for why people, you know, see Bloody Mary or why Bloody Mary is still around or things like that. Mirrors are actually known portals both in the spiritual world and actually in the scientific community. So in the spiritual world, mirrors are seen as a portal to different dimensions, different states of consciousness, different universes. And so they're oftentimes used to see into the future or see into the past or into other lives, and things like that. There's a lot of uses for mirrors in kind of paranormal. Actually, it's really surprising. I just learned this very recently, but actually a lot of scientists and physicists are actually studying mirrors all the time because light and energy actually behave in a very unexpected way when studying mirrors. And, you know, they think this has something to do with photons and how they reflect and the different like reflectional energy and how it distorts the waves, but they really don't know why there's so much energy or why there are so many weird energies that are not behaving the way that we would expect them to. So actually this is a claim in these, you know, spiritual community that is backed up by science. Somewhat, you know, there's no one really knows, which is the case with a lot of stuff. You know, no one really knows for sure. There's a lot we don't know about the world, but I think that's really fascinating as well. So another explanation for why people see Bloody Mary in the mirror is because if you stand in a dark room and stare in a mirror long enough, you will actually start to hallucinate. This is like documented scientific fact. Like, if you don't believe me, go into your bathroom right now, turn off all your lights, and just stare at your own eyes in the mirror, and you will see, I swear to God, you will see a demon. Like, your face starts to melt and your features seem to move. Sometimes you see other things appear beside you or behind you or actually overtake your face. It's absolutely terrifying. So if you want to get scared, don't play Bloody Mary because you don't want to get into that mess, but go look at your face in a mirror in the dark. It's absolutely horrifying. So this was actually discovered by Giovanni Capito, and he calls it the strange face illusion, which I also thought was really interesting. You know, that's a documented occurrence that does actually happen. So people think that this is the reason why people believe they see spirits in mirrors or why they believe they see these apparitions and that kind of thing. So I just thought that was really interesting. I wanted to give some background for that. So when I was in school, as I've heard, apparently this was really popular pretty much universally in like the early 2000s. I hear a lot of stories about people that are about my age who had Bloody Mary was really big, which, you know, I feel like she's not as that game is not as big as it was back in the day, but I do feel like it still is a very well-known legend. So first things first, my friends and I and everybody in my school absolutely believed in Bloody Mary. We all thought that my school was actually haunted by Bloody Mary. So some of the background to this, we all thought that the third grade bathrooms were haunted. We were all terrified to go in them. Every floor had, you know, like 2 or 3 bathrooms, and they were usually set in like the separate wings for the grades. So the third grade bathroom was also actually right by the computer lab. Shout out if you remember computer labs with giant dinosaur Mac computers and the like that you would go in and do standardized testing on. They don't really do that anymore, and also computer labs are not full of 1 foot thick computers anymore. But anyways, so that was like right by the computer lab, so that was the bathroom we'd use there, like when you're in kindergarten, first grade, second grade. So we were all terrified of it. None of us wanted to go in there. It was actually set up very, very weird. I've never really seen another bathroom set up this way. I thought it was very strange. You would walk in the door, and right away it would just be like a blank wall. And you would turn to the left, and there would be 2 stalls like right against the wall. So you would walk in like this, and then this wall has nothing. And then right across from you, there's 2 big handicap stalls. And then to your left on this wall, there's 2 other stalls. And so the lights, for some reason, didn't really work. Like, the security lights would stay on most of the time, but the lights that, like the motion lights, would almost never turn on. So it was always really dark in there. All of the bathrooms in my elementary school had mirrors. I don't know why. Like, why does a 9-year-old need a full-length mirror in the bathroom? Like, that just seems odd to me now. But now I just kind of, why? Like, what's the point of that? The big thing, especially in 3rd grade, that's when this really started taking off. You know, we all had heard rumors about how, like, the 3rd grade bathroom was haunted and how it was, like, so creepy and, like, there's ghosts in there and, like, So we'd all heard these stories about the third grade bathroom, like, the whole time we were in school. So once we finally got into third grade, Bloody Mary was super big. Also, like, you know, scary stories and whatever. We're all very in, and I was always well-renowned because I'm a fabulous storyteller, as you can tell. So I was always asked to tell stories. So Bloody Mary was one of the most popular ones, and we all, you know, thoroughly believed in it. So after lunch, a lot of the time, all of the girls would gather in the bathroom, and we'd wait until the motion lights turned off, and since they didn't work all the time, you know, it would get really dark in there, and we could move around, and like, if we were already in there, it wouldn't make a difference. What we would do, actually, is wait for them to turn off, and then like 2 or 3 girls at a time would spin around and say Bloody Mary and stare into the mirror, and we were all absolutely terrified. We would hear like stuff banging, like the stalls closing when nobody, like, you know, when there was only like 5 of us in there, like standing by the mirror and stuff like that. So we'd always end up just running out terrified. And I think we did that in like every single bathroom, like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. So this was like ongoing, and I don't know why, but we just kept doing it, and we'd do it at like every single sleepover. And it was just like super bizarre now looking back that like you would like want to do that. You know, like that you would just want to like continuously taunt this spirit. Like, why? That's so ridiculous. Horrifying. Like, no thank you. So now looking back, I'm just like, idiots, why would you do that? But anyways, so in all of these bathrooms, it was just like horrifying. So in 5th grade was the next time something like really scary happened. So starting in 3rd grade, we started like switching for classes to like practice for middle school. So we would have like an English class, a math class, and a homeroom class. So like when we were in math class, you know, I got a pass and like went to the bathroom and whatever, came back. So then like a couple hours later, me and a few other girls had gotten pulled out of class, and they took us like into like, you know, talked to us each separately, and they were like, hey, did you see anything when you went into the bathroom earlier? And I was like, no, I went to the bathroom and stood there for a while because I didn't want to be in class and then went back. Like, no, it was just me. There was not even anyone else in there. And then, you know, they were like, are you sure? Like, by the mirror, like, you didn't see anything? And I was like, no. So I was talking to the other girls that had also gotten called out, and it turns out that on the side of the mirror, there were these, like, handprints, like not handprints, but it looked like someone took their fingers and ran them down the sides of the mirror, and it was bloody handprints. And so they called everyone out of class because they thought one of the kids did it, but nobody admitted to it. And like to this day, I don't know if it was just some prank by some kid, but like, how horrifying is that? Like, we would always do Bloody Mary, and we would always like do this crazy stuff, and then suddenly one day there's just bloody handprints on the outside of the mirror. Horrifying. So after that, you know, everyone was really, really freaked out for a very long time, and I think that's kind of when we all stopped doing Bloody Mary, because I remember like the kids from other elementary schools would like talk about it in middle school too, and everyone from our school was just kind of like, no thanks. Because like, that's so horrifying. Like, to, you know, like as a kid you believe pretty much anything, but then to like watch this happen, like how awful is that? Like, horrifying. So yeah, that was absolutely like just terrifying in school. And so I don't know if like that has affected anything. I don't know if I like, you know, played this paranormal game and actually ended up with, you know, a spirit kind of attached to me or anything like that. I don't really know. I've kind of suspected it for a while, especially because we played with all kinds of Ouija boards and did all kinds of paranormal games and all sorts of stuff like that when we were kids and just, you know, didn't really know any better. So I wonder a lot if that has anything to do with a lot of the stuff I've experienced as an older teenager and as an adult. So if you have had any experiences with Bloody Mary, I would love to hear about it. So go ahead and tell me about it in the comments. If you like this video and you like this series, go ahead and drop a like on this video so I know, you know, if I should keep doing this or what you guys want to hear. So if you guys want to hear any specific stories or urban legends or have any good stories that you would like me to read, go ahead and drop links in the comments and I'll make sure to check them out. So that's about it for this time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that you enjoy my future videos. Again, if you liked this one, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. It means a lot to me that people really want to hear my stories and listen to me, and it just makes me feel really validated. So I really enjoy making these videos, and I would love to make videos that you want to see. So I have in my description all of my links to my social social media, so that means Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, my email, literally anything you can to contact me. If you follow me on social media, you will get advanced warnings and little sneak peeks into the videos before they come out. So if you're interested in that at all, make sure you go ahead and follow me on those. So as always, you guys, I hope you live your lives with love and peace and happiness, and I hope that you do everything you can to be the best you that you can be. I will see you guys on Friday, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.